How often does a PI need to interview someone? How often do you have to interview somebody during an investigation? Let me know in the comments down below. Let's quickly cover the top 10 techniques used by private investigators when conducting interviews. The first one is one of the most important ones to remember. Always ask open-ended questions whenever possible. These types of questions, open-ended questions, are designed to encourage a full, meaningful answer from the interviewee. You want the person you are interviewing to open up to you, to divulge their knowledge of the event or their true feelings about the topic at hand. Instead of asking simple yes or no questions like, did you see Bob take the money out of the cash register? You might say something like, tell me about what happened when Bob allegedly took the money out of the cash register. Often an open-ended question is not phrased like a question at all. It is more asking them to fill in the blanks of the story for you. Another great way to ask might be, what exactly did you see the day the money went missing out of the cash register? This obviously is more of a question and appears to be less leading than asking something like, tell me about what happened when Bob allegedly took the money out of the cash register. This video is sponsored by OREP Insurance and Working PI Magazine. OREP is a leading provider of private investigator liability insurance. Visit orep.org for a quote today. Probing questions are another form of question that works great for PIs during an interview. These questions are designed to dig deeper to allow you to gain a better understanding of what the interviewee is talking about. Probing questions can also help you uncover underlying feelings and opinions they may have about the situation. For example, a probing question might be something like, how were you able to see Bob take the money from the cash register from your desk on the other side of the room? This will entice the interviewee to provide the logistics of how they could see that far away, what obstacles were in the way, and other pertinent pieces of information. Another probing question might sound like this. After you saw Bob take the money from the cash register, what did he do next? Clarifying questions are another great way to extract the needed information for your investigation. By asking these types of questions, you ensure that you fully understand what the interviewee is saying. A good clarifying question might be something like this. So you were leaning back in your chair, you were stretching, you were looking down the hall to see if anyone was in the cafeteria on break, and that is when you saw Bob take the money out of the cash register. Notice I didn't ask, is that correct at the end? I wanted to leave it more open-ended as well, probing and yet be clarifying at the same time. Leading questions can be useful when used sparingly and can be good, especially if used in a similar manner as a probing or a clarifying question is used. Something like this. So, Bob did steal money from the cash register. Now be careful and be prepared when they answer this question. It should always be followed up with a clarifying or a probing question like, what did Bob do that made you think he was stealing the money? Using a leading question in this manner will help protect you from allegations that you were leading the witness to a presumed answer. Reflective questions are good ways to help you gain more information and help you clarify what the person said at the same time. This is done by rephrasing and repeating back the information that they provided already. Something like this. So you're saying, in essence, that you are sitting at your desk, getting ready to go on break. You leaned back in your chair to look down the hall to see if anyone else was on break. Then you saw Bob take the money out of the cash register and put it in his wallet. Then he placed the wallet in his back pocket. Then sit and wait for a response. This is vital, so you give the interviewee time to reflect on what you said and come up with an answer. Now that answer may just be yes or even no. But if it is a no, they will usually say why. If they don't, then you should go back to probing questions to find out why they said no. We talked about the importance of asking open-ended questions, but there are times when asking closed-ended questions is appropriate too. These can be used to confirm facts or establish a baseline of information. Closed-ended questions will usually elicit a yes or a no answer, or maybe some short, factually based answer. A closed-ended question could be, did you see Bob take the money out of the cash register? The answer might be yes, or it might be yes, I saw him put it in his wallet, then leave too. Be careful and use closed-ended questions sparingly though. Using them often may speed up your interview, but it will leave more unanswered questions in most instances. Let's now discuss hypothetical questions. These can help you to explore possible outcomes or situations for the interviewee to consider. You might ask this. Have you ever seen Bob take money out of the cash register to get change from the bank when they are low on change? This will allow the person being interviewed to look at the action Bob took in a different light and provide some reasoning as to why he did what he did. Funnel questions are similar, but they usually start with a general question and eventually they lead down into more specific questions. Funneling questions might look like this. What reasons do you think Bob might have taken that money out of the cash register? Have you seen Bob take money out of the cash register before to get change? Does Bob have the authority to take money out of the cash register for change, or does he have to ask someone else for permission? Did you see Bob talking to the store manager before he took the money out of the cash register? With this type of funneling of the questions, it allows you to narrow it down to some pertinent pieces of information. You could then summarize the funneling in a clarifying or a reflective question. Rhetorical questions don't really require an answer, but they often do result in an affirmation or denial from the other person. These are used to make a point or to lead into further discussion. A good rhetorical question could be, isn't it true that all cashiers are able to take money out of the cash register to go get change if they get approval from the manager first? This allows the interviewee to either agree with the statement, or they could disagree or even rebut or clarify something in the statement. My favorite type of question is what is called a critical thinking question. These are designed to increase understanding and to spark creative solutions or what-ifs by asking about the why and the how aspects, not just the what aspects. This could be something like, why do you think Bob took the money out of the cash register if it wasn't to go get change? This will get them thinking about their motives or reasons, as well give them the opportunity to defend the original premise, which is that Bob probably took the money out of the cash register to go get change. Let's recap really quick. Here are the top 10 types of questions for your interviews. Open-ended questions are questions that cannot be answered with a simple yes or no. Closed-ended questions can be answered with a simple yes or no. Probing questions are asked to delve deeper into the subject. Leading questions suggest a particular answer to the question. Hypothetical questions ask an individual to imagine a specific scenario and express their thoughts about it. Reflective questions are useful for encouraging respondents to think about the situation. Clarifying questions are used to make sure that you fully understand the respondent's response. Funnel questions start with general questions, then narrow down to a specific point. Rhetorical questions are questions asked to create a dramatic effect or to make a point rather than to get an answer. Critical thinking questions are formulated to entice the interviewee to think about possible scenarios. And the bonus question is the direct question, which are straightforward questions seeking specific information. What do you think about all these types of questions used in interviews? Let me know in the comments below.